It's alive. Frankenstein Playing with Fire comes to life at the Guthrie Theater. It is a reimagining of the classic Mary Shelley novel, which is marking its 200th anniversary this year. And today, we are delighted to have actors Elijah Alexander, who plays the creature, and Zach Fine, who plays Frankenstein. Great to have you guys here. I was just saying, you two have some faces on you here. Take us inside this. We're familiar with the story.
Yeah.
What is this play about, this production about, and how does it tell it?
This production is, as Barbara Field, who's the adapter, the writer of this piece, she calls it a response to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And what she does is she takes a segment from Mary Shelley's classic novel and expands upon it. And that segment is that Frankenstein has chased the creature to the ends of the earth for the last 20 years. They've been chasing each other. I've been seeking revenge. And we encounter each other at gunpoint on the North Pole, and that's where our story begins.
Great destination for it. So
Yeah.
there's this great moral dilemma there. Take us inside that and how you express it.
Well, yes, at the heart of it, there is a moral dilemma that involves the responsibility of creating a life as opposed to doing an experiment where you're concerned with results and consequences as opposed to responsibility. And the moral dilemma is, it sort of explores the dynamics of what makes us human, what differentiates us from the rest of the animal kingdom, what makes us essentially and utterly human. And so we start from the very first question of the play with that moral exploratory investigation, with his very first question.
And what's interesting for people who will come to this, many of us, our only exposure would be Gene Wilder and Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a very different approach, obviously, to telling this story.
It is.
Yeah.
It's definitely steeped in a moral dilemma, and it's steeped in a moral conversation around not only the scientific questions of just because you can do something, should you do something, which is really at the heart of it, but also the question of responsibility, which is a really strong theme in the piece. The piece really very much explores the relationship of fathers and sons, Frankenstein being the creator of this creature, and this creature wanting to be accepted and acknowledged, and Frankenstein having a really difficult time acknowledging him for a variety of legitimate and complicated reasons.
And for talented actors to be able to do this, you are then connecting with an audience then that has very visceral reactions to all of this too. That must be exciting.
It does. It demands a lot of the audience because they're watching, they're having hopefully a very vicarious sort of voyeurship type experience where they're asking these questions of themselves as well as each other, you know, when they're coming in groups or in pairs or whatever. So, I mean, it's...
I am only sorry our time is so limited today because all this breaking news and all. This is a wonderful performance, you can tell it is, and we appreciate your passion and taking time to share some of that with us today. Thank you guys. Ticket information and other details about Frankenstein Playing with Fire at KARE11.com. Look under the 4 p.m. show page. Well, up next,